Hello everyone, Ember here, and welcome back to a new video. And in this one, I'd like to take a look at one of the best new decks from the latest sets from Black Bolt and White Flare, and that is going to be Jellicent EX. So Jellicent EX, or Mr. Pringles man I guess, has 270 HP, which is a decent amount for a stage 1 EX to have. And it has the very powerful ability Oceanic Curse, which says as long as this Pokemon is in the active spot, your opponent can't play any item cards or Pokemon tool cards from their hand. So an extremely annoying ability. Now, sadly, Jellicent has to have a pretty mediocre attack in order to compensate for such a powerful ability. Power Press only does 80 damage for 2 energy, which is very pathetic. And this Pokemon has at least 2 extra energy, which is a bit expensive, needing 4 energy attached just to do 160, which is, like you shouldn't be paying 3 energy to do 200. So the fact that this guy is saying pay 4 energy to do 160 is pretty brutal. And to be honest, I think most of the time, at least from my experience so far with playing Jellicent, you really don't need to attach 4 energy to Jellicent. Like, you just don't bother, just do Power Press. And like, you only need to bother with 4 energy if you want to like KO Dragapult with like Lillie's Clefairy. Like, you can get there, with things like Crispin if you really wanted to, but in all honesty, I don't think the 160 is too impactful. Like, yeah, you can power up to it with minor attachments if your opponent is really struggling to get into the game because, of course, you are item locking them. But at the same time, like 4 energy is a massive commitment for one Pokemon. So yeah. Also, you kind of just want to, attach energy to Munkidori and take advantage of Adrenabrain because this is effectively healing you for 30 and also adding plus 30 damage to your attack, which is really nice. So all of a sudden, 80 damage becomes 110 and so forth, and that'll stack up through the turns, which is really good. We also have Frillish, which is worth talking about. Sadly, Frillish has 8 HP, so no Buddy Puffin in sight. But thankfully, this deck is built around using support engines that all have a lot of HP. So even if this thing did have 70 HP, I think it would still be a bit awkward to include Puffin as well. But this Frillish has the attack Oceanic Gloom, which is a very miserable name for an attack. For 1 Psychic Energy, does 20 damage, and during your opponent's next turn, they can't play any item cards from their hand. So it is effectively just Bud You, but on steroids because you're now doing 20 damage. Admittedly, it is costing energy, so it's like ups and downs, but I think overall it's really nice to be able to just poke for 20. Especially means things like Dracoloak, for example. Like, I know I'm bringing up Dragapult a lot now, but like, if you poke a Dreepy for 20, right, and then they go like, oh, I'm going to evolve now into Dracoloak, you can still KO them with a Power Press. So like, it's not as if you'd be like 10 or 20 damage shy, for example. So that's nice. Just the small little victories in life, but yeah. Frillish is very helpful. We kind of already talked about like Clefairy EX, how it helps out with Dragapult, but we do have some other support Pokemon in the deck. Latias EX gives your basic Pokemon free retreat, which is just really nice. Like, Frillish has a higher retreat cost, but typically you want Frillish in the active spot anyway. Like, you don't really want these other guys. Like, if you really wanted to, you could maybe play like Pekkarunt, but if you don't know what Pekkarunt does, I'll bring it up here. Like, you could play this Pekkarunt if you really wanted to. The one that's like, oh, if this Pokemon is in the active spot, then, during checkup, put 5 damage counters on poison Pokemon. Like, you could play Pekkarunt if you really wanted to, but in all honesty, I don't think it's super useful. But yeah, one of the other ways that we're getting more damage on our guys is with Brute Bonnet, which basically just allows you to, once per turn, poison both active Pokemon if it has a booster capsule attached to it. And then we can put a Mochi on Jellicent and then, do shenanigans that way and do an extra damage. So that's kind of it for Pokemon in the main deck strategy. It is worth mentioning that we do also play Perilous Jungle as a stadium of choice, so if you want some extra damage from poison, then it is possible to add up. So all of a sudden, like 80 plus the Munkidori, plus like the Frillish poke the turn before probably, plus like the poison stacking, like it does add up eventually, which is nice. We'd also play Artazon as well, so we have ways of like getting Brute Bonnet out more consistently. Also, the A-spec of choice is Secret Box. Now, I did pinch this list off a Japanese website, so I'm sure there's like more depth, I guess, and insight from that player as to why they picked this A-spec. But I think overall it's a really solid choice, like just from my experience as well. Like, search your deck for an item card, a tool card, a supporter, and a stadium. Like, depending on what situation you're in, it's going to be any different number of things. But like, you can really pop off from this, because if your supporter that you get from this is an Arven, then you are effectively getting 2 tool cards from this, which is great, because it means you can get Mochi and the booster capsule, which is a really fun combo. And then at that point, you can also get Perilous Jungle as a stadium, and then, you're really popping off at that point. So yeah, quite a scary combo. So yeah, definitely worth bearing in mind if you just really want to, I guess, pop off. You know, like you could Arven for the secret box, get a Mochi, and then play the secret box to find like a nest ball, then get Brute Bonnet out on the bench, and then all of a sudden you're just doing crazy damage with poison. So really helpful in getting you set up. Also got Crispin in the deck for some additional energy acceleration should you need it. But really, that's nothing much else to talk about. Like the energy split is pretty standard. 6 basic psych energy because we still need to hit those minor attachments, and then 3 basic dark energy just for Munkidori, really. But you know, it's still useful for Crispin as well. So yeah, let me know what you think about Jellicent down below. Will you be giving Mr. Pringles a chance? You know, I think it's a good deck, to be honest, but like, of course, that weakness to dark is a bit scary into things like Grimmsnarl, but I think overall, like, there's not enough Grimmsnarl on the ladder, right now at least, for it to be too scary. But yeah, also, like, resistance to fighting is still, like, whatever. Like, I don't think Garchomp's going to be super popular in this format, but, you know, maybe Garchomp takes off, and it's a really good resistance to have. But yeah, I'm not really seeing too much in the way of Garchomp. But yeah, let me know what you think about this deck down below. It's been Iono PAR, and yeah, thank you for watching. Yeah, I think what I would really like to do is just maybe remove Charmander. Because, like, I can get to 320 and want to kill Dragapult. So, yeah, I think that's what I need to try and do here. So go ahead and boss and KO Charmander. And I think that's fine. Yeah, we'll do that. And then this way, next turn, we can want to kill Dragapult. If we get energy as well. So the poison won't matter to us too much because we'll be doing enough at that point. We'll be just doing 320 with weakness, so I would like an energy off this prize though. That would be really nice. Right. Energy? Please? Nest Ball. Nah, not useful. Nest Ball's not useful at all, actually. We need something a bit more than that. To be honest, we won't be able to heal Jellicent if we do this, because we'll have to dedicate the next Magna attachment to Jellicent. So, like, a Crispin would be one nice as well, actually. Yeah, if we get Crispin, that'd be good. Because then we could attach energy to here, and then also get one down to Munkidori, and then heal something. Recon Directive, that's fine. Honestly, a new set drops, and the first thing people do is go immediately back to Dragapult. I haven't seen any new cards in this deck. I guess some people just want to grind out the Battle Pass first and then try the new stuff. Seems like a shame, though. Alright, more Recon Directives. Huge hand size for my opponent. Alright, so there's a Luminos. We still need an energy, though. Like an energy's... Okay, so there's Iono. So we can get energy plus a way to find that Clefairy. That's Crispin. Okay, so we can't do the poison shenanigans anymore. That's fine. If we could just top deck an S-Ball, that would be fine, actually. I mean, they might have Neo Upper Energy, but not much I can do about that, really. You know, they could just have their own Crispin or whatever, but... Oh, that's really annoying. Bench... Yes. Yeah, I want to bench that. So I don't think I can get it off this, because I still need the other energy. So I think we just have to research. And we need an energy, plus a way of finding the thingy. Alright, I think that's enough. So we'll ditch an energy and a supporter. Go grab Lillie's Clefairy. And then that will mean we can one-hit KO Dragapult. Finally. Where is he? Yeah, go grab that. So I don't have access to poison anymore, which kind of sucks. We also don't have the bench space for a Latios, so things might get a bit scary. So yeah, I don't know why that's saying I can do that when jamming tower's a thing. Yeah, that's weird. But yeah, we'll do the 320. We are barely alive though, and we've also discarded our Crispin, so yeah, we're in a very precarious position by doing this. But I don't mind doing it. At the end of the day, I don't think Dragapult's a particularly great matchup for you. Like, they can rely on non-items and survive. So yeah, that's what I was fearing earlier, is that we wouldn't be able to Arven for a Vessel. So yeah, we'll have to see what my opponent does here. If they can KO both our Jellicent and Frillish, we just lose, I mean. We just lose at that point. But on the other hand, we can have access to like Bloodmoon Ursaluna, like we can Night Stretcher for Frillish, do Item Lock or something, but yeah, we'll see what my opponent does in this situation. They are thankfully yet to take a prize, which is good. And they concede. Great, fantastic. I thought that would all fall apart at the last minute, so I'm very happy that happened.